I think that successful programs are those that are, you know, really engaging whoever is the vulnerable population, whoever is the vulnerable person, and saying, you know, what's going on with you in your life, and what kind of programs do you imagine that you could do, or, you know, what do you respond to? And so in Uganda, there's, you know, a level of literacy that is different in rural and urban communities. The access to information has been limited in terms of print information. Radio is hugely popular. Television is coming. But there's always been a great tradition of oral history. And song and dance. These are cultural expressions. And they're also a way of people to access their emotions. And maybe to talk about stories and things that are more difficult to talk about in person. I'll give you an example. In Rwanda, which is next to you, the topic of sexuality is not really discussed publicly. Even between husband and wife, between families, it's not an open discussion. I mean, HIV and AIDS has brought a much more open discussion of topics like this. But people can do things in song and in dance. They can do a skit or a drama about a husband who's being unfaithful, or a woman who has been raped. These types of things that allow a person who's in an audience to look at that and to feel less maybe, it's hard to say, but they can see it, they can hear it. It's almost like you film something between two people and you put it on television, that same person may be able to watch it on television the way they can't if they were sitting there with their husband or wife and a counselor. We've really seen this to be true, that you know, that's why we film our stories and watch them on television. It's the same idea, to make sort of a public experience or a private experience public in a way that people can still connect. So I've seen very successful programs that are really created by communities for their own local communities. I think what I haven't seen as much of is the sharing of that. And I think it's really been something that I've been focused on, because as I'm looking around and I'm seeing the epidemic move so fast, you know, there are incredible prevention programs in the United States that could be, ideas of which could be applied elsewhere, or even shared in the United States. There are incredible programs on the ground in Rwanda and Uganda that could be of terrific benefit to women or men in another country, in another region, who are trying to do the same thing, whether it's an income generation program or a food program or a, you know, food for credit or microfinance tied to HIV prevention. I mean, they're incredibly successful models all over the place, but people don't know about them.